It is summer on the Uncompahgre Plateau, when the clouds that roll over the mesas promise rain, but often deliver only lightning, and the threat of wildfire.
Little Mesa, icy, turning east.
For the firefighters on the Little Mesa Fire, lightning also brought opportunity. The chance to use a confine and contain strategy to give the fire just enough room to finish what started naturally, clearing the landscape of heavy dead and down vegetation, pushing back encroaching pinyon and juniper, allowing the sage and native grasses to thrive, creating a healthier environment for the wildlife that depend on what the mesa provides.
The Little Mesa Fire started by lightning on or about July 30th, and it was detected on the 31st, the morning of the 31st, by the multi-mission aircraft.
A tree struck by lightning smolders and then bursts into flame, the fire spreading across dry mesa in Dominguez Escalante National Conservation Area.
After the fire was detected, one engine responded to it. It was in pretty inaccessible terrain and also a good spot to evaluate as a candidate for a resource benefit type fire, a confine contain type fire.
High up on the mesa, the challenges were getting firefighters to the fire line and implementing a strategy to protect the values at risk.
When we look at values at risk, we're looking at a lot of different things. Access into the fire, private property, infrastructure, cultural sites. The area that this fire was, there was very little of those things identified.
Firefighters defended a critical watering area known as a guzzler for wildlife and livestock and protected historic cattle holding pens by clearing away and breaking up vegetation, using drones for precise targeting and prescribed burn operations, the drones dropping small spheres known as dragon eggs that ignite on impact, while crews strategically place fire directly on the ground, creating areas that burn with differing intensity.
The term we like to use is mosaic. Think of that you're painting the landscape in a different fire severity throughout the fire area. So it's not going to look like one whole piece of just burnt black on the hill. There's going to be a lot of different variation in that, and from the air you can really see that picture a lot better, especially with the flatter terrain out here.
On any fire, management strategy has to weigh risks and benefits. And for the Little Mesa Fire, the question was whether the strategy should be suppression or confine and contain, allowing fire to consume vegetation within the established containment perimeter.
Fire is a natural part of this ecosystem, and with the natural ignition, it gives us a tool to help better manage areas that are struggling with invasive species, pinon tree and juniper encroachment, hard foraging habitat for wildlife and ecosystem. The fire will get in underneath the trees and help open up the canopy to allow for shaded soil that helps our native grass species and forbs grow. Gives us the opportunity to really reset the clock in areas that have been struggling, and it gives us more tools in our toolbox to better manage public lands in a healthy way.
The key to the confine and contain strategy was deliberate removal of potentially hazardous vegetation, using a masticator to take away overgrowth along roadways, putting fire on the ground to secure the perimeter, having solid natural barriers to make sure the fire stayed on top of the mesa. Fire managers believed they had everything they needed to be successful while keeping firefighters and the public safe.
So we utilized a lot of natural features because that's the least amount of exposure to firefighters. So on the north end of the fire, there was a lot of just bare ground or where the fuel runs out. And then on the south end of the fire, there's more forest roads, existing roads, and we utilize those based on the sparseness of fuel, so the minimal amount of work we would need to do to keep the fire in that spot.
From the first report of smoke through weeks of operations, fire managers talked with partners from several different surrounding agencies. All agreed that confine and contain strategy was the best use of the opportunity made possible by natural ignition.
We talked with Delta County, Montrose County, Mesa County, DFPC, Forest Service, and then of course BLM.
I had several conversations with the Bureau of Land Management on this one, on how we wanted to let this fire either suppress it or confine and contain it. We all made the decision that where this fire was started, there was no threat to structures or private land or anything to that nature. So it was a great opportunity to let fire take its course and run for the ecosystem, which is, fire is really good for mitigation. The county commissioners fully support letting fires run their course in the confined and contained nature like this one was able to do. The commissioners feel that it's good for forest health.
I'm thankful for the support that we got from all 3 counties that this fire impacted. Having those relationships established with the counties, the sheriffs, the emergency managers was really a critical process in deciding that we wanted to do this burn.
Coming together to take advantage of an opportunity and working together for the best possible outcome.
The Little Mesa Fire is a good example of being able to utilize a fire in this strategy, the confine contain type strategy, and reduce exposure to firefighters and have a big benefit to the land. We were able to burn it in the right conditions, at the right place, at the right time, with the right resources.